I don't see it as being a win for News Corp. I congratulate our editors. They, I think, were very connected to the mind and mood of the Australian population. And to suggest that this is a win for News Corp, I think, for those who have made that assertion, underestimate the intelligence of the Australian population who, and I think more than anything else, our editors consistently read into the ambitions, the fears and really the motivations of our communities and saw the key issues for what they were.
Yeah, what were those key issues and what was the key difference in the coverage?
Oh, I think that we saw consistency around back pocket and impact on cost of living, which was a real concern. I think there was definitely a pushback in some regions to minority groups of people from outside the areas that they were living in, imposing their views into how they should vote. And I think that definitely had an impact. Again, I think that there was some short-term concerns around where the country was, and I think that the retiree vote definitely played a bigger role, and that not just from those who are older, but those who have family who are older, and that they've worked hard and that they should be enjoying their retirement and the spoils of their hard work.
Now, what are the key challenges then, do you think, for the Morrison government now in media regulation, ownership and broader issues following especially the ACCC's review of digital platforms?
I've got no insights yet on where that's going to land, but I do think that the Consumer Competition Commission do need to think of the consumers and move quickly. This is a rapidly changing market, and that not just thinking about the impact on media, but thinking more the impact on consumers, and that whatever findings that they present and recommendations they make, I hope that they are debated and decided quickly. How
is News Corp in Australia placed?
We're doing some things really well, and there's some things that we could do better at. I think Australia's propensity to pay for content, quality content, has never been higher. We're seeing it across a number of different platforms, but in our sector of news publishing particularly, we've announced recently passing over 500,000 paid digital subscribers, and that's been a very rapid, within 6 years, achievement. The Australian is soon to announce the fact it's passed 140,000 digital paid subscribers, which is past the peak of its print daily circulation. That's the third fastest after the New York Times and the Washington Post growth in the world, and that is world class. And I think that's really coming out of the fact that we are understanding our audiences better through better use of data and ensuring that we're providing the right content for our different audiences. In that, though, I think there's areas we probably need to do better at. I mentioned technology as being one area that we need to probably make changes in. I think that ensuring that we have the right journalistic skills to meet our changing audiences' needs is another area where we need to see some better skills coming into the company. Equally, I think it's a challenge which all media companies are facing in Australia, and News Corp's no different, and we're probably behind others in this regard, is how we best leverage our scale and what we can do together while still applying it at a local level, which is our strength and point of difference.
So what are the challenges? Should we expect further cuts in the business?
Yeah, unfortunately, we will. Part of constantly changing is that we'll see some skills come into the company, and also some people who've worked with the company for a while will be leaving, and that's acknowledging that the business and the consumers are changing, and the business needs to change with that, and it's who we work with in terms of partners. But it is. I think, in fact, the most big companies is that changing and being multi-skilled, particularly. Hey, there's many journalists, yourself included, but who people like Hedley Thomas who can write and does his podcasts. We've seen many of our sports journalists now appearing on Fox Sports and other radio programs, as well as writing for our papers. Trent Dalton's another one that comes to mind. He's now award-winning books with HarperCollins. So our consumers are multi-skilled in their use of multimedia, and that increasingly we need to have skills brought into the company that reflect the multi-skills of our journalism and of our sales teams and our marketing teams.
Now, what is the target? Is there a target number of cuts across this would affect all metros, journalists, reporters, back end, as far as possible redundancies?
Hey, we don't ever talk to numbers. I think we talk to people. It's not about hitting a number. It's about working with people to ensure that one, our audiences are being met. And it's across the board. It's not just I think the journalistic part of the business gets the most attention. But we're seeing changes in our commercial teams. And I say it's about skills coming in and not just people leaving. And so there's a balance there. But I think it's not one particular geographic area. It's going to be the changes which we'll have to make about ensuring that the business growth that we have seen for the past 2 years continues into the coming years as well.
Sure. Now, let's talk about Foxtel. I'm interested in how that business is growing and where it's positioned in the market, and also the role of, say, KO. How's that travelling?
We changed the shareholding of Foxtel only a bit over 12 months ago. And that we're definitely as news now thinking of this as a business we want to invest in. And the investment in KO is a component of that. There's no doubt the competition for content has never been fiercer. And that there's a lot of content being produced, but it's really quality content such as Game of Thrones. It's the success that Foxtel's had in that space. But the competition is there. We've got some competitors in the market that have got some big renewals coming up, and they're definitely making it known that they would they want to retain those and go after other content. But so the way Foxtel has, in terms of IQ4, seeing a lot of retention in terms of crossing that churn. And for a business that has been constantly disrupted, has seen a fairly solid base retained within the business. KO really surfacing that great sports content on a different brand and on an OTT platform has done particularly well. And with the start of the Cricket World Cup over the weekend, and with the sporting seasons, I think we're now offering a 12-month offering across a new customer group that previously hasn't enjoyed the full 12-month benefits of our great sports content.
And what about the prospect of a Foxtel IPO or a spin-off? Is that still being considered, do you think?
No, it's not considered at the moment. As I said, that it's early days in terms of the new Foxtel. There's a new executive team under Patrick Delaney that is doing a great job, and that we're very confident the plans that are in place. Foxtel's making good money, unlike many other streamers in the market.
All right, Michael Miller, thanks so much for your time.